fingers are frozen. Why are you running?
I'm running the race to win. I don't know. Why am I running?
Why did you
wanna be
develop
healthy.
the residency model?
The residency model?
Yeah.
We want to develop young leaders that will make a kingdom impact everywhere they live, work, and play.
Why did you call it the residency?
Because we realize that young leaders who have some education or intellectual training need a practical component where they get to live out what they've been putting into their minds. And one of the best places to do that is in the context of real ministry. So we wanted to empower them with staff roles and staff functions while having the protection and the boundary of the residency. So they're around other practitioners. They're being poured into as they get to practice and live out their faith and everything they've learned about God.
What are some practical needs for the incoming and current residents?
So we're trying to think of ways to, let's slow down, there we go. Trying to think of ways to remove barriers for residents to work through the program with us. And naturally, things like housing, room, board are huge barriers because people have to live, so they have to have other jobs. And we want to help free them up as much as possible from having to work other jobs so that they can concentrate and actively participate in the residency. This is common in places like the medical field, right? Where you're not going to have a resident working 3 other jobs as well as fulfilling his residency at the hospital, but they're investing themselves completely into becoming active practitioners. So we want to eliminate barriers like housing. We want to resource residents by either providing housing for them or by providing stipends towards housing to help free them up in that way.
Who would people reach out to if they want to learn more, prayerfully support some residents in ministry?
Me. I want to tell you more about it, and I want to introduce you to some residents and also talk about impact. So a guy like Preston, a guy like Brandon, a girl like Sarah, as they're going through the program, not only are they actively participating and being poured into, but they're also coming up with new ways to help us do ministry, coming up with things like a special needs care in the context of families. And so that was a resident project. One of our residents came up with a system and a way for us to resource underprivileged families and kids that have disabilities. And so you can talk to me and I can connect you to real people as well as the system for helping to get resources to them.
You have 15 seconds. What else do you want them to know or take away?
I want them to know that Jesus is awesome and you need to keep growing in Christ. And one of the ways you grow is by pouring yourself into others. That is discipleship, that's investment. And there are short-term investments with long-term gains. There are long-term investments. This, by pouring yourself into future generation of leaders and ministers and missionaries, that's a long-term investment that's impacting not one person, but generations of people, depending on where that individual ends up.
Yes! Over and out.